What's good, Pan-African Lifestyle? My name is Oshay Duke Jackson. I'm from Sacramento, California. I am the creative director over at Kenganda Studios, and this is my story. So I always wanted to come to the continent of Africa, and in 2017, I decided to do so, coming to Kampala, Uganda. At first, I really didn't like it, but the country grew on me. I decided to come back February 2018, that coming to Uganda would be a part of my life forever. So I own Kenganda Studios. We have a production company here in the country. We produce two things that are really African based. The Kenganda Repat podcast, in which we have a podcast that embodies all of the Black diaspora coming back to Uganda or other places. And then we also have the Pan-African Dating Show, Africa's only diaspora dating show that features people from all over the Black world, trying to bring people together and to connect people. If you are coming to Africa for the first time, notably Uganda, or most African countries in sub-Saharan Africa, I would probably always recommend get a yellow fever card. I would definitely always recommend that. Also, have an open mind. I mean, everything is not going to be like it is in the United States or in Europe or maybe even the Caribbean. So you're going to see some things that are going to definitely be shocking to you. So again, have an open mind and be willing to learn on your first trip to Africa. Before you relocate to any country in Africa, you should visit multiple times. Before I decided that I wanted to come to Uganda, I think I visited almost like 9 or 10 times. Not everybody could do that, but you're going to want to see if you can live in a place every day, not just because it's the good weather or you're just, so happy to be there. You're having a fantasy about the country, but can you deal with power outages? Can you deal with potholes in certain countries? Can you deal with a lack of customer service or a lack of disappointment in the private sector? You need to also be able to experience your bad issues and not just, the weather is good, it's opportunities, the men or the women are nice or whatever like that. You need to be able to experience both of those situations when you come to any African country. So give yourself the opportunity. If you fall in love with one, you can visit multiple, but then look at the opportunity you have in the country and then get a chance to get around. Do you need to get around on a motorcycle? Things like that. Is the area safe that you want to do? And then after you want to move, consider, are you going to have a business in that country? Figure out what your current skill level is. For example, for me, I was a YouTuber content creator. So I knew that we would be able to do this in this market, digital marketing, things like that. You need to do things for free. Okay. That's one of the things that I want to tell you. Be willing to do something for free, a lot of stuff for free. Okay. And of course, some people don't like to do that, but you're trying to get yourself established there. And I would take on these projects and just do the work for free. They may contact me back, they may not. So at least I'm finding myself getting back into the system. And then, I have some leverage, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I get leverage. If you're trying to come to Africa and repatriate, you don't just want to move here with no connections. You want to build that credibility base. So I would do that. Then I would come back and I would work for those people for free. And then out of those 10, somebody will probably say, hey, we want to go further in the process. You need to identify leverage on the continent of Africa. People are not always going to be so straightforward. Take an opportunity there. Nobody asks you to come here. So when you're new in the market and there's not a lot of money in the market, a lot of deals to be had, you're going to have to wait your turn with everybody else. But be patient, be professional, be solution-based, do good work. Even if they are not going to be professional, you ought to be professional. If they break their promises, that's okay. You don't break yours, okay? You make sure that as an individual or as a person working in Africa, that you deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. And what you're going to find out as time passes on, that other people will fall out, okay? Unfortunately, it's how it works. But you who's consistent in building the business, you're going to be able to be successful based on that. Last part is training and development. When you come to any country in Africa, you're starting a business, you are the business person, you're identifying talent, you are also training talent, and you're recruiting talent. You're not going to be in a position to do absentee ownership, like have that person go and just do whatever they're going to do. That person is going to need you to train. That person may take 6 months to a year to get things right. And it's okay as long as the person's putting in effort. All right. Got to have time, got to have patience for these things to develop. And I'll talk about that if I'm ever invited again to give a talk on it. I'll just talk about that in specifics. If you want more information like this, you can always follow us at the Kenganda YouTube channel. Check out the Repat podcast for our dating show, the Pan-African Dating Show. If you have questions, you can email at teamkenganda@gmail.com and we'll do our best to get back with you. Thank you again, Pan-African Lifestyle, for inviting me. We out.
Living a dream, living the African dream.
Are you planning to travel, relocate, or invest in Africa? Before making permanent decisions, equip yourself with the knowledge you need to make informed choices. Africa 101 is your guide to relocating, investing, and living in Africa. This is your essential resource, covering the basics and must-know insights to guide you confidently. Download your guide now at panafricanlifestyle.com and take the first step toward a thriving future in the motherland.